I felt so good. I was thinking about Richard Sherman. I was thinking about everything you could think of. I was just sitting there going, oh, my God. Yeah. But they fell completely apart. They completely just fell apart in the second half. You think about the first half and some of the things that they were doing was just amazing, running the football. They had 150 yards rushing in the first half, 35 in the second half. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. What you're up. Run the damn football, man. Just run the ball. They can score 7, just get 3. You get 3. You had an opportunity to get 6 points in the second half, 2 field goals. But no, I'm gonna think like a player and not a coach. That's what Dan Campbell was doing. Because we want to score. We want to score touchdowns. Go. So he's thinking like a player instead of like a coach. Like you're within minutes of ending this thing and going to the Super Bowl as a head coach of the Detroit Lions. Instead, we now have to talk about you failing and making the San Francisco 49ers just look amazing in the second half. The 49ers on every single possession in the second half scored points. Every single possession. I don't count the kneel down at the end of the game. It made 0 sense. The Lions' second half possessions in the third quarter, they turn over on down, San Francisco 28-yard line. They're up at that point 24-10. They could go up 27-10. Could, right?
Yeah, easy.
Then they fumble.
That would have been a 46-yard field goal.
I'm taking that, though.
Yeah.
I'm taking that 46-yard field goal.
Yep.
Then they fumble in the third quarter. Then they punt 3 and out.
Yep.
Then turnovers on downs again.
And you had a 48-yard field goal at that point.
Like, if you're in the National Football League as a kicker and you can't hit 40-plus field goals, you don't need to be in. If you can't trust your kicker to knock it down in this situation on the road, you need points. I don't understand what Dan was doing for the life of me. Oh, well, I mean, what are you going to say, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you got to give it to the 49ers. They finally did, Richard, what I've been asking to do. Give me double-digit deficit, come from behind. Yeah. They did it. They can't argue with them.
No.
They did it. This isn't 4 points against Green Bay. They actually did it. Right what we've been asking for. Brock Purdy and company cashed in. They're on their way to the Super Bowl. Hats off to them. I'm so mad. Oh, I'm so mad.
Yeah, I know.
I'm mad.
So what I told you guys from the beginning was Brock Purdy was legitimate. I heard arguments. I heard fussy. I heard he got to do more. He got to do this. He got to do that. It was frustrating. It was annoying. But he continues to do it. And this time he said, you know what, Keyshawn, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to let my team get down 17. 17
Well, I don't
points.
think you let them get down 17 now. Stop that.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish my point. Because you said he went to the fourth quarter down 7 last week. And you said, that's not enough. That's just 7 points. It's easy to come back from 7 points. That don't make him good. So he said, let me go ahead and show you. I'll come back from 17 and take my team on a drive after drive after drive after drive. I'm going to do it to Kittle, Ayuk, Kyle Juszczyk caught a big pass early in the game. He did it to McCaffrey, Jawan Jennings. Everybody had a part in it, but guess what? Whose legs? He kind of looked like a guy who could do it all. Kind of ordeal. He was a guy who did it with his legs and his arm. He kind of looked like an elite quarterback of sorts. You know, I mean, I'm sure if we dressed him up differently and put a different costume on him, we'd talk about him differently. You know, I'm hearing Skip try to twist himself backwards to defend Lamar and try to make Lamar's mistakes look more minimal than they were. But then I hear them talk about Brock Purdy like, oh my God, he just had a good second half. Well, Patrick Mahomes had 69 yards in the second half, and so he had one good half and he had one bad half. But then when Brock Purdy has an unbelievable half, I just hear the diminishing of it. No, I don't really like that. But the San Francisco 49ers made great adjustments. You got to give Steve Wilks a lot of credit. They were getting gashed in the first half. They were getting bullied in the first half. That offensive line for Detroit manhandled them a lot in that first half. Their defense made incredible plays in that first half. And then in the second half, adjustments happened. Championship medal happened. Championship resolve. Skip, this may not be something that you're familiar with. Your team isn't involved in these kind of games, so you don't make it here.
I lived
when you talk about championship
Super Bowl wins. That's all 5.
And And I don't. The internet wasn't born, and I think I was barely alive. You know what I mean? I don't even remember those years.
It happened, believe me.
But when you talk about I would have to look it up. It's because it's history. But I'm talking about resolve. This is championship medal, and Brock Purdy was at the helm. He didn't panic. Kyle Shanahan did not panic. He made the plays that were there. When the pockets collapsed, he ran the ball. When he needed a pass, he made a pass. There was a play, that 4th and 2, that Detroit went for, and you showed the clip multiple times. I thought that they would run the ball. I thought they were averaging 6 yards a pop running the ball. I thought they would run the ball on 4th and 2. I guarantee you, at the San Francisco 49ers, when they saw him line up and gun and say, hey, we're going to pass this ball, they took a side. Whew. I mean, thanks.
Richard,
I appreciate
should he have
that.
caught the ball? Should Josh Reynolds have caught the throw from Jared Goff?
Yeah, have caught the throw. Skip. I'm not advanced like you. I don't play that game.
Wait. No, I want to know if this is a drop or not. Drop or not. Drop or not.
It's an incompletion. It's a turnover on down, Skip.
You have to catch it.
It's a turnover on down, Skip. It's kind of.
And if you don't catch it, bat it.
I don't want to hear about ifs. I don't want to hear about ifs.
You just bat it down.
I don't want to hear Why when you're talking about the San Francisco 49ers, you give so many if scenarios? What if Lamar Jackson would have got sacked on the first touchdown of the game? Oh, what if he would have got sacked on that play? What if he had it in his grasp?
Well, how did this get to be
because
about
I'm tired
Lamar?
of the ifs. Because I am tired of ifs from you guys. I'm tired of it. What happened? It was a 51-yard game. It was a 51-yard game. It was a 51.
Yes, it was a 51-yard completion.
I can say that about a lot of plays.
All we're trying to say is Josh Reynolds should have caught that ball. Man.
Oh, come on.
That's the 4th and 2.
I hear.
You supposed to hold on one sec, Rich. Though on 4th and 2 in the NFC Championship game, everything is on the line, dog. You got to catch that. You just do. That was a hand.
I don't care what you're talking about.
Of course he didn't catch it, but it was a handoff.
So why are we sitting here talking about it?
Because
why are we sitting here talking about it? Can we talk about what actually happened?
We're trying to analyze how San Francisco was able to win the game in the second half. That's all we're doing, man. That's all.
And so let's talk about what San Francisco did, not what if he would have caught that. If he would have did this, what actually happened?
You said Steve
Christian
Wilkes.
McCaffrey ran the ball really well.
You said
Steve Wilkes stopped the run. They stopped the run.
You said Steve Wilkes made the second half adjustments.
Rushing yards in the second.
They stopped running the ball, though. They stopped.
Why did they stop?
They stopped
running the ball because they were getting stopped. Keyshawn.
Not to the level where you just completely abandon the run. Not a 4th and 2.
Clearly
they elected to throw. If Josh Reynolds makes that catch, they get another set of downs. They're moving forward. It didn't happen. We understand that. If the defensive back decides that he wants to catch the football instead of allowing them to tip it to Brandon Ayuk, by the way, who made a hell of a catch in concentration and not giving up on the play.
He did.
You tap your hat off to that.
Yeah.
If you catch that as a defender, we're not even having this conversation. That's all we're saying.
But we shouldn't be having a conversation because it didn't happen. So let's just talk about what did happen. Now, we could have a conversation about things that actually happened
Richard,
in the game.
can we talk about what Ayuk said right after the game? He said live on Fox, he said, a ladybug landed on my shoe before the game, and you know what that means. It means something lucky is going to happen. Lucky is going to happen.
They won the game, Skip, and going to the Super Bowl.
They won.
So
we understand. We just want to analyze it, man. Can we at least do that? Can you let us analyze it?
But you're not analyzing a full game. You're analyzing the what-ifs. The what-ifs. You're not analyzing the what-is. So they got stopped in the game.
Richard,
they stopped running the ball because they didn't have success.
Here's
in
a
the second
fact.
Half. That was
During
what
the
happened.
regular season, the Detroit Lions were 23rd in the league in points allowed. So what happened in the second half was not all that shocking because it should have happened in the first half. They should have moved the ball a lot better than they did. But they were allowing 148 yards rushing in the first half, which is more than a Kyle Shanahan team has ever allowed in his 7 years in a full game. They gave up 148 in the first half. And then to Keyshawn's point, for some reason, they said, I guess we got to throw it to hold on to our lead. They just panicked in the second half, and the sky fell on them because they're not very good on defense to start with. They weren't all year.
Yeah, but they didn't help. Their offense didn't help their defense in the second half. That was part of the problem. Their defense and Aaron Glenn played extremely well in the first half. Yes, that could have been an interception by Brock Purdy, but it wasn't. It was a completion. And when you look at the situation if Josh Reynolds just catch the football, or if you decide to kick a field goal. You had 6 points that you left on the field in the second half. If you get those 6 points, maybe the game is different. Maybe they're calling it different. They're looking at it different at that point in time. It didn't happen. San Francisco deserves to be in the Super Bowl because they stayed the course. They didn't panic. They stayed the course. And as they continued to mount points up, they kept looking at the scoreboard and said, oh, we're going to catch these dudes. We're going to catch these dudes. Oh, we caught them. Now we're going to pass them. And they passed them. It's nothing taken away from San Francisco. All we're trying to do is look at both sides of the equation. That's all. That's all we're trying to do.
I hear that, but both sides are. Detroit played a really good first half. We can talk about exactly what they did. They ran the ball incredibly. Jahmyr Gibbs looked like he was on another level. There were third down conversions that were unbelievable by Jared Goff. Jahmyr Gibbs converted a 3rd and 12 where he just looked like he was way faster than everybody on the field. And then Skip, I love when Skip gets overconfident because you see it in his tweets. You see him get on Twitter and he's Twitter finger in his way out because he thinks, oh, come on, Skip, it's my pleasure because then I get to get on this show and correct you. I just appreciate it because it just brings me so much joy when you build up just to get the floor let off from under you and it crashes and burns. And I got to say, Skip, you said Jahmyr Gibbs over Christian McCaffrey.
I would take
and
him.
I wanted to send somebody to your house to drug test you.
No,
and again, but these your takes age like milk in the desert, Skip, because you said the same thing last year about Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard's way better than Christian McCaffrey. Oh, Tony Pollard. I would take Tony Pollard over. Well, you're the only one, Skip, and that's a reason why you don't coach our
fringy
GM.
Number one. Do you remember that?
Why are we talking about the Dallas Cowboys?
Dallas
fringy number one.
Because Skip, Dallas is in the Super Bowl, Skip, right? Playing the Ravens.
Michael thought Dallas was playing
this was your prediction. Dallas is playing the Ravens, and Dallas was, they should have been, according to Skip Bayless.
Right,
that's
let's
why
go back to one other flashpoint in the first half. Keyshawn, this is for you.
Yes, sir.
All right, your man Dan Campbell, you played with him.
Yes.
You know Aaron Glenn because you played with him.
Yes.
Okay, so
that's why I picked him.
I know your emotions were invested. I get
emotions invested, even though I actually thought that Frisco would win the game, but I got to go with my guys.
I get it. I get it. And Richard does that with his team. So congratulations. Okay, it's fine.
I just happen to be right.
All right, end of first half. It's 4th and goal at the 3, and this is Dan Go for Broke Campbell, right?
Yes.
And I'm thinking, man, you've got them teetering. You are, pardon my language, you're kicking their ass in their place.
Yes.
And they're 7.5-point favorites on their turf in the NFC Championship game. And you go for broke usually. Well, if you go for that and make it, it's going to be 28-7 at halftime.
Yeah.
28-7.
Yeah.
I don't know why 28-7.
And they were getting the ball, right?
Yeah.
Second half.
Yeah.
Detroit was getting the ball second half.
No,
they didn't. San Francisco got the ball second half. Okay.
Yeah, but the point was, and by the way, San Francisco only got a field goal on their first possession. So then the sky fell after the first possession in the second half. But the point is, I was shocked that Dan Campbell didn't say, hey, let's dance with who brung us. This is what we do. Let's just go for the throat right here.
Yeah, I was talking to Michael at that point, and we were discussing whether or not he should kick the field goal or go ahead and try to punch it in on 4th and 2. You would either pick up the first down or you'll score a touchdown. I personally thought he should have gone for it, but I was okay with taking the points because I didn't foresee them breaking down in the second half. I just didn't see it.
I
so I'm a guy who says, I'm on the road, I need points. I'm on the road, I need points. But I also understand what you're saying, Skip.
28-7 just feels like it's just impossible.
I probably would have ran it, though. I probably would have. Design something to get Gibbs in between the tackles, something that he could have bounced it, or a two-way goal for Jared Goff where run pass action where he could maybe do a bootleg of some sort and then pick it up in the flat.
Well, I'm gonna do what you guys aren't gonna do. I'm gonna give Brock Purdy a tremendous amount of credit as the quarterback who
he wasn't in on this play Skip talking about, man. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Because I'm not worried about the play you're talking about.
We're talking about the play with Dan Campbell, not Brock Purdy.
Because y'all are talking about irrelevant plays. Y'all, on one situation, you're saying fourth down, he should have. Why aren't they taking the points? I would have took the points, Skip.
No.
And then you're talking about, in this situation, since he took the points, I would have done the opposite.
No,
Again,
this is
I'm
before
going
the
to talk
half.
about
We're
what
talking
actually
about. We're not talking about the second half. We're
I know
talking
what you're talking about.
before the half. We're just discussing how close he was to getting the first down and how close he was to possibly scoring a touchdown. That's all we're doing, Richard. That's it. He wasn't. It was 4th and 2 and 4th and 3. I mean, we're talking about these plays. These plays were cool plays. I got you. But they were a small part of a bigger picture, and I'm focusing on the bigger picture of the game. And so, excuse me, if I don't want to sit here, if I'm not going to sit here and talk about a 4th and 3 where they got points in the first half, and then you turn around and talk about a 4th and 2 where they got stopped when they did what you wanted them to do. Richard,
and go for it.
Is the game different if it's 28-7, though, Coach? Come on, man. Is it different if it's 28-7?
The game is different if they score a touchdown. Again, if
is it harder to come back from 28-7? Is it harder to come back from 28-7? Is it harder?
What the score was. That's not what the score was.
Richard,
that's not what the score was.
Final
that's
thought.
not what the score was.
Richard, at halftime, did you have any doubt?
No, I didn't.
You had no doubt?
And you can ask everybody that was. You can ask everybody that was sitting with me. I was sitting there talking to them. Please take a lie detector test, Skip. I'm going to tell you the truth. I was telling people in the booth. I said they're going to figure it out. They were like, "Is this too big to come back from?" I was talking to Gavin Newsom. And he was like, "Is this too big of a deficit?" Bob Myers was going to
I don't care if you was talking to Obama. I don't care. It would have been a big deficit if it's 28-7. You need to stop with this.
It would have been a big deficit.
Name drop.
It would have been a big deficit, but you're not saying a way for them to score a touchdown. It was 4th and 3. They kicked the field goal. If they would have got 21-7, would have been less of a deficit. 21-7, it would have been easier for them to come back. Like that's how ridiculous you sound, because it didn't happen that way.
You got me on Gavin Newsom. I give up. If you're talking to Gavin Newsom, I got no response to that. You won. Way to go, Richard. Congratulations.
Well, I usually do on this show.
Okay with you, man. You're something else, Sherm.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.